it came the Ayyubids, okay, sorry, the Umayyads. The Umayyads stayed about only 100 years. Then the Abbasid stayed another 500 years, okay. During the Abbasid time, there was the Fatimid, there was Ayyubid, there was Ptolemy, and there were many other dynasties at time of Abbasi. And then after Abbasi, the Mamluks, and then the Mamluks, the Ottoman, and lately the Ottoman about finished 100 years ago. So, of course, there are tons of other dynasties appeared at this time, but this are the main thing. So here you can see a development in the whole empire, the Islamic empire, a development and changes, dynamic changes, you know, with time. Some people come up, some go down, but they are all one umbrella, whether it's Arabic or Persian or Turkish or Asians or Africans, they are all okay, whether they were Sunni or Shi'i or Ismaili or Abadi, they are all considered to be Muslims, okay, and they are all under one umbrella. This umbrella, below this, all these coming. So coming with their different ideas, their different heritage, their different cultures, everybody has input. Some people were good in ceramics, some people were good in writing, some people were good in dancing. So their cultures, of course, affected their lifestyle when they became Muslims, okay? Now, this umbrella here, okay, gathers all these nations during 14 centuries, from the Far East up to Europe, down to Africa. All these became, you know, different nationalities, different way of languages, different colors. All of them, okay, have actually, when I say when they write Quran, they have to read it in Arabic calligraphy. So they started learning, they started improving, and time. Let me see the improvement of time. Now, what I will show here is what I showed books. Anything here you will see actually from my book, and anything I put in my book, actually I have it here. So it's my own piece, okay? I didn't take images from the internet or from other, no. I have it from my own collection. Most of them are genuine pieces. Some of them, especially for the pioneers, I have facsimile copies, especially when we talk about some big people who are not existing. There is like one, I will come later, one pioneer, there is only one Quran. It is in Ireland, so I have facsimile. But 80% here are genuine, which I have it in my library. So, okay, as we say, the first one here, you cannot read it. I cannot read it. If you take it to any Arabic person or anybody, he cannot read it. Only those who can actually, who learn this Kufic, because it was in Kufic. Then it is developed. Here it is much more clear. Here I can read it, but not easily. I have to look and, you know, try to focus so I can read it. That one, probably 200 years after the Prophet. This one about 300 to 400 years. So it took time till it became this one. Here we can see this. We can see these red dots, which is replacing the dotting system created later. Now this one probably about 500 years old after the Prophet. Sorry. So you can here easily read it. Any Arabic person can easily read it, but it is not. This is not the way people are writing right now. No, they are writing differently, but we can read it. The way of writing is different. By the way, I got the book just to show you. This is the book, okay? And all this, what is shown is actually in this book. So this is, again, time improvement. Then now here, one of the pioneers called Ibn Muqla, Ibn Muqla, which is about the 4th century of Hijri. Of course, we have Hijri and the normal dating. So this is Hijri. There is no anything existing, no Quran existing for Ibn Muqla, but he was a pioneer who created some type of fonts. Then we have Ibn al-Bawwab. Ibn al-Bawwab actually created also a thuluth and some other type of writing. Then this is 7th Hijri. Okay, this is called Yaqut al-Musta'sami. Yaqut was one of the last Arabic pioneers. So these 3 people, I selected them during these 3 people. I selected them as pioneers in changing and modifying the Arabic calligraphy. Then I selected another 3 from the Ottoman period, because the Ottoman people writer, they were, you know, a lot concentrating on how to improve the Arabic writing. And this man called Sheikh Hamdallah, and then we have Al-Hafid Uthman, and then we have Hamid al-Amadi. Hamid al-Amadi died in 1982, 1983. So he is one of the last people. Of course, there were hundreds of writers. There were hundreds of people who added. There were hundreds of people. Is it clear? There were hundreds of people who were writing, but there are pioneers, as you can imagine, in every industry. Writing is an industry. Writing is an industry. It needs efforts of people. It needs mind. It needs working hard. So to become art, from being not readable to becoming art, okay, it needs hundreds or thousands of people who were writing, who were improving. But I selected in my book the 6 top people. I could select 100, I could select 1,000. Okay, I selected the top 6. What I figure they were really made the big changes. Okay, that is time. Now we will talk about how cultures affected calligraphy. Okay. Now those who knows Arabic, actually they will figure out that there are slight changes. If you go to writing Arabic in India, it will be different than if you go to Africa. It is readable. It is the same thing, but the way they write, like some people make it more thick here, more high, it is different. There are standards. Okay, there are standards, but I'm talking about normal people. How it is changed? Mainly because they are writing with their own language. So when they come and write in Arabic, it is affected, you know? Like when you are always writing in Russian and then somebody asks you to write in Arabic, it will be your way of writing. If you are writing from left to right or somebody writing up to down, you know, he will be affected. So if you compare this writing in Arabic to their own language, you will find some similarities. Okay, so this is like in India and Pakistan. This is in Andalusia. Okay, we call it the Andalusian type. You will see it big and, you know, thick, and the way they write the M is different. The way they write O, wow, is different. It doesn't exist anymore because it vanished with the Andalusian, and not anymore. But still, these are sold in auctions. This is in China and those countries. In China, for example, they use the brush to write in their language. Okay. So when they write in Arabic, they always also use the brush. Whereas in Arabic people, for example, they stick the wooden stick from the trees. There they are using the brush. When you write in a brush, it will be different than when you write on wooden piece. So you can see when they write the or the wow, you know, with the brush, they have to finish it in the brush. Iranians, this is nista'liq. So the Iranian, they have their own language, and they had their own calligraphy, and they call Shakista. So when they started writing Arabic, it is a lot of similarities, but again, it is Arabic, same words, same letters, but different. When if I ask you, where do you expect this? You just see it. You just will say this is in Africa. You know, it looks African actually. See the way they write, bold and thick, and you know, black. So you can say this is Ethiopia and Sudan. You see how the cultures affected their writing. You know, the culture, the way of their writing. So like this is the Iranian, this is the Chinese, this is the Andalusian, this is the Indian. So although it is one way of writing or same letter of writing, but geographical places has affected the development of Arabic. This is Moroccan people. Moroccan people, very similar to Andalusia. If you see, the Andalusia was big. This is the Andalusia. Sorry. This is the Andalusia. If you go and make it small with some changes, you will see this Morocco. Why? Because Moroccan countries, Algeria, Morocco, and Tunisia, are close to Spain. So they were, you know, a lot of them go here and up, down, you see. So they are sort of similarities. You can see this is the baby of that one. Okay, now I will see also that there were some fonts that is not existing right now, okay? And these fonts actually now are used mainly if for decoration, for tournaments, but normally you will not see it in a book. This is called al-MUHAQQAQ. Al-MUHAQQAQ is very beautiful, but again, it is not used for writing right now. It is used before, it was used before, and it finished about I think 10th Hijri century. Now they are using it for decoration, writing, you know, something, or for in the competitions. And this is called Rihani. This is more or less, you know, slim way of writing the alif and so on. It is again also it's not used. Okay, this is the old thuluth. Now, if anybody who start learning Arabic, he will see the thuluth. This is the old way of writing. From that one, this one came. And this is now, which is called nasakh. Nasakh is easy way of writing. Now all Qur'ans are written in this way. Again, as we seen that at the beginning, the Arabic calligraphy, as I said, I showed you poor, difficult to read, but now it became art. So you can see people putting on their wall. You can go into offices and you see, because it replaces the art, you know. This is in Qatar, we call it Mushaf Qatar, and they selected, they made a competition out of 120 writers. There were competition, it became 7, then 3, then 1, and then it was written, and there was big competition, international competition to select the writer of it, so it became art. You can see this is a Syrian writer, okay? See the way he decorated, the way he wrote, so it became actually, now this one, I see people, they took a photo of it and they put it in frame and they hang it. Finally here, what we have is computer-aided fonts. Right now, the fonts has developed during the last few years, okay? And people started writing with their Quran or their, you know, letters or their books just by the computer. by software, I mean. Okay, this was not there before. Before it was a writer has to write. Now most of the people are using these computer fonts, and this is widely used even for Qurans, even for other books. But again, actually, the human touches when you write a Quran like this, for example, or like this. Okay, I'm not talking only about Quran, any book. If you are using a writer, I have here, for example, a lot of things. I go when I want to write to the Amir or I will not use computer. I go for writer, because when a writer writes, it is different than when computer writes. It's like, you bring a man who or a woman who cooks very well, or you just put it in the oven just to speed it up. But so this is now, but this is because it's cheaper, it is faster, and so on. I will definitely make it shorter for you. Arabic calligraphy is endless story. I am always asked, do you think, where is the end of it? Do you think there will be also future changes? I would say yes. Arabic calligraphy is something dynamic, and as long as there are people who will write and who will write, there will be future also improvements and developments. And right now we can see that there are some people who come and they create new fonts and so on, but these new fonts are mainly used for something special. So there are hundreds of fonts are created right now by companies, but for special purpose, not for mainly books or so on, for banners or for tournaments or so on. This is mainly a quick, let me say, presentation about my book and about Arabic calligraphy. I am glad to answer any question. I am glad also to make other presentation in the future for Islamic art. Mainly, I don't collect only for, I collect anything related with Arabic calligraphy, not only Quran. I have so many other things which is actually related to Arabic calligraphy. Thank you very much. I hope I was clear. I hope it was interesting. I don't know, but I wish so. Thank you very much. Mr. Murad?
I'm sorry, just a minute. Today I have something. So.
Okay. Something
Now,
wrong
dear
with
colleagues,
connection today. Right? Yes. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much for your very interesting presentation. It was a great pleasure to hear some interesting things about the Arabic calligraphy. I'm a specialist in Korean language, in Korean. That's why I a lot of thing about the Chinese characters. But it was a great pleasure for me to know some historical facts about the Arabic calligraphy, and I think that it was interesting for our guests. Murad, the floor is your okay.
So thank you so much. I'm so sorry for some technical issues because I don't know why, but today our connection, not your, Mr. Fakhroo, something strange with my personal computer. So now, dear colleagues, we are moving to question and answer session. I'm totally agree with Dr. Vishnikova. This was really so great and interesting because it's really a part of history of Arabs, history of Islam, and it's so interesting. Dear colleagues, if you have any question, please use raise your hand function, and I will provide an opportunity for you to ask directly. Okay, Victoria, please turn on your microphone
and camera. Yeah.
camera. Yes, it will be better.
Yeah,
Hello.
Thank you so much.
Hello. السلام عليكم. مساء
عليكم
الخير.
السلام.
شكرا جزيلا يا دكتور على محاضرتك مفيدة وممتعة. I have a question. I love Arabic calligraphy and I totally agree that it is a form of art. But could you give any advice on how to read it? Maybe like from which angle to start looking at it, like some advice how to read it or at least try to read it. Thank you. Shukran.
Thank you very much. It is my pleasure. So are you talking about, if you are talking about reading or writing, actually, let me say Arabic calligraphy is totally different than, let me say, all those calligraphy of, which is developed from the Latin language. Because mainly you see here, we are from right to left, for example, and rather than your language from left to right. So you have to start looking at it as totally different culture you will get into it. But it is interesting because if you think like it is, you know, some Orientalism and some, you know, history related, so on, so on. So I would advise mainly that if you get in touch now, life is easy by computer, with the internet, with chatting. You can have a lot of Arabic friends and then start learning some words and so on. It will not be difficult, but the only difficult is only the start. Reading is not difficult, you see, but the way it's put together is different. It's like when if you know, for example, English and the French. Okay, in English there is no phenomena, no muscular, but there is in a French. So when you tell English person, he will say, how can a word, how can table be male or female? He cannot, you know, grasp this. You know, it will take him time. But here in Arabic, it is also there. There's it is Arabic, or it is muscular or feminine, and then when you start putting the letter at the beginning, it's different at the end. So the main difficulty you will find at the beginning. Once you go and proceed with it, and you take this, and your mind start thinking, you know, in different manner, you will find it, I think, easily. Of course, there are a lot of books actually, a lot of books that is made for learning Arabic. Okay, and I think with the internet, with the PDF now, you can start this. But I think actually you will need somebody, and I'm sure you will find a lot of friends who can help you in this. A lot of people would love to see you are talking in Arabic. People would love to see this one. I mean, we feel happy actually. Why? In many, because, you know, for example, in Qatar, okay, we have different nationalities. So we have English people, we have French people, we have Russian people, we have Indian, Persian. So to see somebody wants to learn Arabic, you will find a lot of people who are interested. Also, I mean, if you could travel, there are a lot of I mean, a lot of centers that will teach. But I would advise you to take it little by little, so your mind has to work in different manner, you know, to think differently. It is little bit difficult at the beginning, but at the end, I think you will find it easy, inshallah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fakhroo. As you see, we have a lot of students who are really interested in Arabic culture, in Arabic language. So Victoria also one of the students of us. So now I want to give floor to Elmira for question. Elmira, please turn on your microphone and camera.
Yes, Professor Fakhroo, thank you very much for your interesting lecture. Actually, I have learned a lot about Arabic calligraphy at the university, but yeah, it was really a pleasure to repeat all this information. Actually, we were taught only naskh at university, and sometimes we could also master ruka, but it's just the way of spelling. And
Yes.
actually, my question is about quite a difficult thing for students starting learning Arabic regarding vocabularies, because you know the problem, not the problem, but the difficulty of learning Arabic is that we have only 3 letters. That is the main part of any word. And for example, to find a translation in the vocabulary, you need to understand these 3 special letters. And
Yes.
we know that there is a few only 3 ones vowel letters in the Arabic calligraphy. How do you think why it happened? Why vowel letters were out of spelling? When it happened and how did it happen? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me tell you, as mainly, you know, the Arabic people, when they started the Arabic language, first of all, nobody knows when it started, okay? But the Arabic people were a lot, mainly, you know, concentrating on talking and poems and you know, creating all these different vowels and so on. Because you can imagine the Arabs, when it started, most of them were in the desert. And you can imagine people who have no much resources, nothing to do. So probably most of their time, you know, they were in the mood of imagination and in the mood of writing poems, in the mood of getting into the language itself. So we say, I don't know, but we say, for example, for camels, there are 1,000 words which describe camels. For the sword, there is 500 words that describe the sword, and so on. And they became so strong in talking and in the vocabulary and in the vowels itself, which is O, E, A, and they became so well developed. So when the non-Muslims or non-Arabic came into Islam and they wanted to read, they find it very difficult actually to learn these vowels and so on. The most important thing here, okay, is that there had to be some changes in order to take these people into board. Now, what is the way? Probably I know students will find it very difficult actually to learn, but I think that having some connections, especially now with WebEx or with the Zoom or with so on, you will need actually some classes, okay, with those people. So here probably we can find the relation between you as center or as university or as organization and somebody, for example, in Qatar University and so on. So when you have the classes, he can show you how the word is pronounced. I want to tell you something else, that even we, the Arabs, sometimes, a lot of us, okay, make mistake, okay? So, for example, in Qatar here, let me, you know Arabic little, okay? You know, there is 2 letters. If I say it now, people will not differentiate. Va and va. Va, va, which is with letter alif, okay, va, and then va, it is not that. But when you hear va, You will not differentiate. A lot of Arabic people don't differentiate this one. When how the letter come out from the throat, how it come on, a lot of people miss in this one. So I would suggest that use the technology, this online software, to get somebody in the classes. Now you don't have to be in the class. You everybody in his house and start talking. We can probably look into some cooperation, okay, between those who are interested to learn, and some whether the university or Ministry of Education that gets involved in this one, and one weekly class with the students. They will start, once, as I said, the mind starts grasping this information, how to say ah, how to say wow, how to say kha, ain. I don't know. I'm sure also there are letters that we have that you don't have. I don't know in Russian. I don't know Russian language, but probably for example, in English they don't have kha, but ain. To say ain, it is not difficult. I think people will, even if they say maybe many years to say ain, they will not, because their mother language does not have a. A comes from here, But for us, we can understand if the other person trying to say ain, but to say kha, to say dha, some of them are difficult. But still, I'm sure that having somebody who speaks Arabic, and you can share this online. I mean, now you don't have to travel to attend a course or somebody has to come. Now we can sit together and talk. There are a lot of software that can be exchangeable, and students can learn this one. Probably, I want also to talk, to say there are two things normally. There is the Arabic, pure Arabic, okay, which is we talk when we read and so on, and then there is the slang language, okay. It is little bit different. So when you see Egyptian, he will talk different than if you see somebody from the Gulf, different than from Jordan, different from Lebanon. We have different. It is not totally different, but there is different way. So if I hear Egyptian, I will know he is from Egypt. I will understand him 100%, but I will know he is from Egypt. If I talk, that Egyptian will know that I am from the Gulf, and although he will understand. So all this is there that you will have to learn.
So thank you so much, Dr. Ibrahim. So now I think Olga, please turn on your microphone. Okay,
مساء الخير. شكرا على كلمتك. عندي سؤالك. I think that you have some, maybe you have some information about the development of the calligraphy in Southeast Asia, especially in Malaysia and Indonesia, because right now we can see in these countries the process of Islamization, and a lot of people go to Saudi Arabia or to Qatar to learn calligraphy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am actually happy I heard you, Amira, and others to speak Arabic. By the way, your Arabic, not only you, everybody who talked Arabic is actually very good Arabic. So I didn't expect this, actually. I did not expect this. But your Arabic is excellent, yani, okay? Probably it is, as I say, maybe like for example, all your words were correct. When you say I have su'al, oh, here just probably it needs, you know, repetition, and then when you start grasping it, you will know. All other things, as I said, when you talk Arabic, it is understood 100%. Okay. Now this little bit changes with the repetition with Arabic person. I'm sure that you will improve it. As you said also, yes, a lot of people actually, in order to correct these small changes or small things which they cannot learn it a lot easily, they travel. They come to Doha, they go to Saudi Arabia or so on, and then they start, because only a few places which are difficult. Okay, like when you say su'al, okay, here it is not easy. When you say ain, okay, so it's not easy. So a lot of people say ain, they cannot say ain. This one, it is, although it is understood, but when you travel and you live with the people, it will take some time, and you will learn it. Qatar here, يعني is over here in Qatar, the society here is very, the hospitality is very high. So we love to see people, we love to help people, and probably that they to 2022, the World Cup, and Russia will be here. So it is chance that you come here. It is chance that we go to the Islamic Museum, Islamic art of Islamic, or Museum of Islamic Art. There is also the Qatar National Museum and other places where you can also hear the Arabic. But here also, because as I said, we are multicultural society. If you go sometime to restaurants, even if I go, they go speak to me in English. They don't speak in Arabic. You see here, a lot of people stay here 20 years. I know people here in Qatar, they are here 30 years and they don't speak single Arabic language, because when they speak with the Arabic people, they speak in English. But I really am happy to hear the students here and the teachers here are speaking Arabic. It looks to me very interesting, and I can probably assist with the university if you are at any time wish to have some Arabic, like doctor in Arabic that talks to you and so on.
شكرا أرجع أستاذ إبراهيم. يعني كلنا نتكلم باللغة العربية ولكن فصحى. نعم. So now I move to English because unfortunately not all of us understand. So I think it was the last question, and Dr. Vishnikova, maybe you have some commentary or wishes to our speaker.
Yeah, I have one question here. Yes. First of all, I want to say that it was a great pleasure for us that our students, our guests, have started their introduction, their question from Arabic language. Yes, it's really great. And our audience, it's not only who likes Asian studies or Middle East countries, but it is an audience that really interested in the Arabic language, and they know it and they try to speak in it. And I want to ask you about one question. As for Chinese characters, as I have said before, we have some competitions between students. I mean calligraphy competitions. Do you have such competition in Arabic calligraphy in this style?
Yes, there are sometimes some competitions actually, but the biggest competition in Arabic fonts with different, as you see, fonts, okay, is actually done in organization called Ersika. It is mainly, it is called Ersika. It is located in Istanbul, but it is all Arabic countries or Islamic countries participate. They make a tournament in Dubai, in Sharjah, in Qatar, in Egypt, in Baghdad. There is always competition. Okay, you can see different fonts, different calligraphy. A lot of now, organizations start supporting going back to write, because you see at the end, as I said, it is more or less art. So a lot of, now we have in Qatar also here a society for Arabic calligraphy. You will see society in if you go to any Arabic countries, you will see society of Arabic calligraphy, but these are mainly writer. As you said already, that we have students who talked here in Arabic. Their Arabic is excellent. So those people, if they start also writing, if they start, no, those students, if they are start learning writing classes, it will enhance even their language, and they could even participate in tournaments. I know one Spanish girl, she is one of the top ladies in writing Arabic. She does not speak Arabic at all. Okay, she is Spanish. Okay, probably originally not European, but she born in Spain and so on. But she loved Arabic, same like the students here. She started writing, and now she is one of the top. And I personally bought one calligraphy for her. I paid $2,000 to buy one of her writing. There are a lot of Malaysian men. There is Chinese, I know. There is, of course, Indians and Iranian are very famous, although they don't. Okay, they have, but I will encourage people not only to learn talking, also writing. Yeah. Even probably, I guess they will find it easily to write than to speak. Okay, but it will work together. When they start learning writing, they will learn also reading. But writing the letter, like for example, ra. Okay, they will say when it's a start, how is it? When it is in the middle of the word, how is it? At the end, when they write alif at the beginning, when they write alif in the middle, when they write alif at the end. And if they, actually, I want to say something very important here. Being good writer is more training, more than just a skill. Okay, to be top, you will need to learn plus a skill. But good writer is not a skill, is actually training. So if anybody, whether he speaks Arabic or doesn't speak Arabic, if he starts learning how to write, he can be excellent in writing, even if he has nothing, only training. So training of writing is very important, and then it will work together. As I said, I knew my brother is good writer. His writing was very bad. Only he is 40 years old. Only 45 years ago, he started training, and now he is one of the top in Qatar. Okay, but he spent a lot of time training. He went even to having Arabic classes to write. So I would urge the students to start writing in the best manner. There are software, but if they are related to somebody who writes, and he showed them how to write, it is a skill. Because you see, it is like equation, the length, how, for example, the length, if it is 5 dots, the ba is 5 dots. So it is more or less relative fonts.
Yeah, thank you very much. I have learned a lot of today from you about Arabic calligraphy, and Friendly speaking, if you don't mind, maybe we will meet again and maybe learn more about the Arabic culture. For example, one participant asked me what Qatar people eat on breakfast. I think that it is a special topic for our another discussion, not today.
I will ask Mr. Murad to give everybody my email, okay? And you have my email. I can send also my Instagram. In my Instagram, there are a lot of things about Arabic calligraphy and about Islamic art. So you can join me in Instagram, even in Snapchat, in email. Whenever we want to sit together and have even a friendly chat about Qatar, about people, about food, I am ready.
Thank you
Thank
very
you so much. Ustaz Fakhroo, I think it's time to sum up with our meeting. First of all, I want to thank you so much for this amazing and complex lecture because it was really so overwhelming, and I hope that we will continue in the future because, as I said before, culture is one of the most important factor of communicating between people, of establishing a closer ties, especially between Russian society and Qatari, not only Qatari, of course, from the Arab countries. It's really so important, in my opinion. One more time, on behalf of the School of International Regional Studies of the Faculty of World Economy and International Affairs, I want to thank you. And on behalf of the Russian Middle East, as a president of this organization, it's a great honor to see you here today. Of course, we will share your contact information with our participants. One more time, I want to thank our participants because their questions, their attention is mostly important for us. And of course to Dr. Vishnikova, because we can't do it without her support. Thank you so much, Dr. Vishnikova. Thank you so much, Dr. Ibrahim. And I think it's time to end. If you want to say something, please, the floor is yours.
No, I would like to thank everybody who participated. And I want to tell you and everybody that it was a surprise for me to see that people are talking good Arabic. And as I said, and as you repeated that, please share my contact of email, and I can send also the Instagram where we can have like more, exchange of information and idea. And at any time, every month or once every month or once every 2 months, we can have discussion about different subjects. I am ready, and it will be my pleasure actually. And I would like to thank you, and I would like to thank everybody who arranged this presentation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. See you again.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ustaz Ibrahim, I also want to say, if you want, you can now write on our chat, maybe your connection information, something like that, or Instagram, because you can use it and all of our participants can see it. And also, Marina wants to share with our colleagues about some events of Russia Qatar Center. Marina, you also can write it. Could you find it? Yeah, Marina sent it. It's about this word. So we'll copy it, and after that we'll share with our participants also.
Sure. Now this is my email. And this is here for the Instagram. Sorry, there is mistake. It is let me yeah, okay.
You can rewrite.
No, it's okay. Let me send it. Okay. So it is the first one is my email, and second one is the Instagram.
Okay, thank you so much, Ustaz. It was really so amazing. One more time, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dear colleagues, if you want to thank our speaker, you can turn on your microphones. I'll let it to you. No, you can't.
شكرا جزيلا مرة أخرى يا دكتور. شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا يا فيكتوريا. It was my pleasure. شكرا لك.
مع السلامة.
مع السلامة.
شكرا جزيلا وإلى اللقاء.
مع السلامة دي very أميرة ها what's your name؟
أميرة.
Yeah.
ما شاء الله. Thank you very much.
شكرا جزيلا وإلى اللقاء.
إلى اللقاء. مع السلامة. شكرا مع السلامة.
شكرا دكتور. إلى اللقاء.
شكرا مع السلامة. شكرا مع السلامة.
مع السلامة أستاذ إبراهيم.
مع السلامة أستاذ مراد.
جزاك الله.
إن شاء الله نشوفك مرة أخرى.
شكرا.
مع السلامة. مع السلامة.